Hi everyone, Trina here, and I think we are going to be on the 5th level of the videos. So with that, we were at 7 heavens of the astral planes, and I thought this was totally amazing information because I have had some similar experiences with seeing different levels of heaven and different heavens based on different belief systems. So like I saw people go into Buddha heaven if they believed in Buddhism, and I literally saw that one time. So that was profound to me when they were talking about different 7 heavens in the astral plane. So with that, we will get into the 7 heavens of the astral plane. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts. If a man speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness follows him. Like a shadow that never leaves. Buddha. We have now read some amazing accounts of those who have passed over to the other side and returned. The landscape described are usually limited to the region of the astral plane that they believed or vibrated at. For this is the first place the soul enters after the body has died. In this chapter and in the next one, we will take a look at the 3 distinct levels of heaven, as found on the astral plane, the mental plane, and the causal plane. While the stories we have heard from near-death experiences are all quite powerful, describing incredibly beautiful places, and the astral plane is only an intermediate dimension that connects the physical world with the higher realms of light. Beyond the astral lie the mental and causal realms, and in these higher dimensions is where our angelic or true self resides. The physical, astral, and 4 lower parts of the mental plane are known in the Tibetan teachings as the Rupaloka, or worlds of form. In each of these dimensions we find people, cities, planets, civilizations at increasingly luminous levels of light. Space and time still exist here, but operate in a different set of laws. As we move up in vibration, the energy of light or spirit increases, and the density of matter decreases, creating stunningly beautiful realms of perfection that are difficult for us in our present density to even imagine. Beyond the mental plane lie the 6th and 7th dimensions, known in Eastern traditions as the Buddha realms and Nirvana regions. The Hebrew Kabbalah also speaks of these various realms, calling them the worlds of creation. For the existence of these formless dimensions creates templates that allow the Rupa worlds to form and to manifest. These higher dimensions are called the Arupaloka. In the Tibetan teachings, this is a dimension that lies beyond form. It has no form like we know, i.e., cities, towns, trees, buildings, and so forth. Instead, these higher realms are filled with changing geometric shapes, fractals, geometries, and templates, for which will eventually become the Rupaloka, the realms of form. The higher dimensions are also filled with light and sound that is difficult for us to even fathom, since human beings, our reference points are immersed in the physical form. Yet, as we will see, these are the first realms that the soul enters when it begins its downward journey from the ocean of love and mercy, to eventually arrive on earth. The 6th and the 7th dimensions are inhabited by millions of high-vibrating angels, masters, and presiding deities, all of whom work for the Creator. Their jobs are to assist in co-creation and maintenance of the realms below. The 7-dimensional planes of the astral realm. Teachers of the ancient wisdom tell us that there are 7 major dimensional planes that are each composed of 7 subdivisions. Each major plane and subplane is then separated by a different rate of vibration. And then they show a chart of the creation planes. Theosophical teachings say that the pure light of the atom is also cloaked in a series of 7 shells or sheaths, mirroring the ancient Hermetic saying, as above, so below. These sheaths act like veils, with each atom acquiring its various bodies as it descends into the world of form. This is also true of each soul, which is surrounded by a series of subtle energy bodies, like the many layers of a Russian doll. I saw that. They showed me you're a doll inside of a doll inside of a doll inside of a doll. And then, which together comprise the human aura. Because of this layering, the ancients used the image of 7, or sometimes 9, concentric circles, one set inside of the other, to describe the structure of the universe. As above, so below. Within the worlds of form, which are composed of the physical, astral, and 4 lower regions of the mental plane, we find houses, rivers, forests, temples, animals, humans. In the East, these are called Rupaloka. In the higher levels of the mental plane, we move into the formless worlds of the Arupa Loka realms. While all of these dimensions are made out of elements of air, earth, fire, and water, a different element predominates in each realm. In the physical world, earth is our dominant element. In the astral plane, water. In the mental plane, air. And in the higher worlds, of pure spirit fire. So, in each dimension, the nature of these elements differs in terms of both vibration and proportion. Because of its fluid nature, the astral plane is thought to have a predominance of water. Yet to those who live there, all of the elements appear just as solid as ours do here on earth, being made of the various states of liquid, solid, gas, or ether. Yet, this dimension is imbued with a fluidity and a translucency of manifestation that far surpasses our own dense physical state. Visitors to the astral plane, such as in near-death experiences, or those who have been led in a trance, often describe this realm as being starry in appearance. Objects have a luminosity that shines from within. Astral landscapes of fields and flowers and forests and rivers resemble those of earth, but yet these objects exist at a far more perfected level. Yep, I can definitely agree with that. Since the spirit precedes the matter, the landscape of the astral plane was created before the physical world. So it would be accurate to say that our world is a reflection of this more rarefied kingdom. In addition, each successive plane vibrates at a higher atomic rate than the one beneath it. So each loka expresses higher and higher levels of complexity. So these are the 7 astral planes, the 7 levels of the Kamaloka. Okay. So they arrive at the level depending on their state of consciousness. So like the physical plane, the astral dimension has 7 subdivisions, each distinguished by its own vibratory level. In Buddhism, the lowest region is called the Avishi, or the Avitasi, often translated into English as the incessant or interminable. It is the lowest realm of hell, the greatest place of outer darkness. This place is the city of shadows, where the souls are so far away from the light of their own true essence that they seem lost to the light of their true nature. There, great beings of light, called restoration masters, help souls to release the hatred, cruelty, and violence that have so polluted their thinking. These restoration masters then reweave the light of pure spirit back into the soul itself, working to give each fallen soul another chance at starting again. That's beautiful. I've seen similar to that, where I've seen souls that were in the darker levels be pulled out of the realms. And this goes into more about how our thoughts and our emotions are what bind us to the lower realms. So because your thoughts produce behaviors and a vibration. So what you think about, you vibrate at. So with that, you need to make sure that you try to remove as much density from your thoughts and your environment as possible. And I know that that's hard in this environment, but it's going to be some of your best work, because anything you can do to help yourself truly feel better within your own being is going to help you in the long run. Because the ego is a tape recorder, and it just plays the memories over and over and over again. But that's how we function. So we have to have that part of ourselves. And learning how to connect with the higher part of yourself, it helps to quiet the ego. And that really helps with your frequency, because it helps to stay in a more positive vibration, because you're not running into the past all the time in the mind. You're spending more time in the present and more time in creation mode, which is the most important place to actually be, is creation mode. Thinking about what you want to see, thinking about what you want to feel, and truly feeling that feeling so you can feel it come into your reality. Because the heart, the feeling part of you, is the signal that you send to the world. And when you send out those positive signals, they will come back in ways you can't imagine. But they do come back, because it is the way it works. It's just the law. It's not magic. It's just physics. So understand there's a lot about the hell realms in here, and a lot about the darker levels and the astral heavens they get into next. And like I said, many people have spoken of the realms of hell, and if you're interested in looking into that, you can get the book and finish and read more of it. But I don't want to spend a lot of time there. But bottom line is we've been reading over and over again, is you will go where you believe, and you will go with what you have created. So whatever you're creating in this world, the life that you're living, and the behaviors and patterns and thoughts and feelings that you hold, that will be a mirrored expression of where you go into the next realms. So just know that that's a powerful tool. And the other thing that I saw in this book, which was powerful, because I had a feeling that it kind of was that simple. You know, people say, oh, I want to get out of the matrix. I'm out of here. I'm never coming back. I've always known that there was more ways to get stuck than there would be ways to get free. So with that, when that explained that when you die and you see these beings of light, and you see these beautiful beings of your belief system, Jesus, Metatron, guardian angels, a grandma, whatever you see, you need to understand that it's you. And if you can understand that anything that you can see that is beautiful and godly in its essence is probably your angelic twin. If you can understand that this truly is probably you, then they say you will bypass immediately all of the lower realms, immediately, because you have an understanding of who you are. So that is powerful information. And if that is accurate, boy, that is going to save a ton of people from going into lower astral realms because of our indoctrination and belief systems and programs that we hold within our subconscious mind. So keep a hold of that one, because that one might really serve you well to understand that what you see in these astral realms, these beautiful beings of light, or these Christ beings, Jesus, Mary, beautiful, beautiful, enlightened, godly-like beings, angels, it's you. And that is, I have seen this, and I really do believe that there's something very, very profoundly, deeply true to this, because I've seen a being of myself expressed as a massive, beautiful being of light with wings, and its energy, and it was beautiful, and I could feel what it could feel, and I've also been able to see myself through the eyes of an eagle. So I think that we, as consciousness, are able to be much more than we can perceive while we're in our human body. So we need to trust that we are more than we perceive and start to connect to that potential and that greater truth, because that might be the key to our success, is not to believe what we've been programmed to believe, but believe something that's new, believe something that's bigger than what's been seen before. You know, they say nothing new under the sun. Well, there won't be until we can create it. So we need to see things bigger, see things bigger than we've ever seen before. Because if we truly do create and we start imagining some very big, beautiful things, chances are they might manifest. So I think I'd rather work with that than the doom and gloom stuff, because doom and gloom is definitely a potential, because I've seen that too. But I also know that we came here to be like Jesus, and that wasn't a person, that was a way of being. And that way of being was like that of the Buddhist masters and the monks and the priests and the magicians, the ones that actually could do miraculous things while operating in matter, and they could bend the laws of physics with their will because they knew that they could, and it was natural to their being. So like I said, I think that these things have always been a part of us, but they've been put to sleep. And I think they were put to sleep on purpose. So with that, we will go into the, I almost fell off the chair. We will go into the astral heavens. So the fifth sub-octave of the astral plane is dedicated to the religious heavens. These are the regions that correspond to heaven for all of the various religions of the world. These cities of light exist for people of good intention, but who have never expanded their horizons. See, stuck in the dogmas. These various realms have been built over many ages by thousands of thought forms and beliefs of millions of people. Here is the Hebrew city of the just, the Native American happy hunting grounds, the Celtic summer lands, the Elysian fields of the Greeks, the Egyptian fields of rushes, and of course the Christian heaven. In these realms, the overlighting deity of each of these religions faithfully appears to its followers, encouraging them, blessing them, supporting their spiritual growth to the limits of what each soul could understand. While this may seem a bit pondering, we must realize that many millions of people still cling to the belief systems that particular religious paths had taught them. They believe this is the only true path. At the higher levels, each of the great masters and teachers who have came to the earth understands that there are many paths to God, and they have no quarrel with one another. Thus, each person is called to his or her own understanding of God in accordance to his or her own nature and spiritual maturity, conditioning, and a willingness to open to be open to a more universal truth. Finally, in the two highest octaves of the astral plane, we transcend the limits of religious dogma. We move into the creational and spiritual levels of the astral plane. This is where those of pure heart and open mind and devout in nature are to be found. The sixth sub-octave includes luminous landscapes of rippling oceans, snow-clad mountains, fertile plains, and scenes of such beauty that even the most transcendent displays of earth are only a shadow of its beauty. These are the artistic heavens, a place where the soul's given access to music, art, color, and creation beyond anything we have ever known on earth. Here, individuals can make fabulous creations from thought alone, developing the soul's ability as a co-creator with the divine. The seventh subdivision is almost entirely occupied by those souls who are dedicated to the pursuit of truth. I think this is my house. These are the philosophic heavens, where a soul may choose to spend years in study and stay in the great libraries learning the laws of science, spirituality, philosophy. Here, there are great museums of invention. One may study the histories of thousands of other planets across the universe. These libraries can also be visited by those of us who are living in the physical realms, if we are evolved enough to travel there. This can be done in meditation or our nightly dreams. On both of these higher levels, there are temples. I saw that we have the potential to create a beautiful healing to this planet if we so choose to, and that it literally would be the healing of the planet, which would, in essence, heal everything upon it. So I sure hope we can remember how to do that, because that would be absolutely fabulous to watch. And I know it can be done because it's the same thing as a placebo effect. If enough people believe it, it doesn't matter. Nothing needs to be given. It's just a matter of changing your mind, and the earth is conscious, and it's the same thing. If enough of the vibration believes that it's healed, it could change in a moment, in the blink of an eye, and we could see our entire reality change into one that's more closely relating to the higher levels of the astral heavens. So, qualities of the astral plane. Like the physical body, the astral body has set a life span. So in time, even the most confused or grief-stricken souls will have their astral body eventually dissolved. When the soul awakens from the dark thought forms that have been trapped in it, eventually they move into the healing levels available on the mental plane. The astral corpse, which consists of 5 fragments of the 7 concentric shells that have been held together by the magnetism of the soul, disintegrates, and the soul is drawn upward. At this time of the astral death, the soul may find itself unconscious of its surroundings, but when it awakens, it finds itself in the subdivision of the mental worlds that correspond to its spiritual development at that point in its evolution. As mentioned previously, the astral realm, or the Kamaloka, is a desire realm where we are strongly influenced by our emotions. Once a soul attains the 5th level of the religious heavens and above, the sensitivity of the 5 physical senses begin to expand, allowing us to experience 2 or more senses at one time. Thus, a person can suddenly feel, know another person or object. One can hear, see the clouds, the grass, or a tree. We can see and know the things around us, just as one, in our near-death experiences, describe a feeling of knowledge flowing from a temple. In addition, our astral senses are greatly expanded, as we saw in the case of Arthur, whose vision he was allowed to see the mountains at a great distance. The mountains appeared to be about 15 miles away, yet I could see individual flowers growing on their slopes. So he estimated his vision to be about 100 times better than on Earth. This is amazing. They can make themselves younger or older, shorter or taller, any gender they desire. However, since most of us are still governed by the thoughts that we are developing on Earth, our ability to manifest in the astral world is tied to the same limitations of our belief systems while on Earth. Theosophical wisdom tells us that as the great life wave of evolution of form passed downwards through the astral plane and constituted on the plane of the third elemental kingdom, the monad or soul drew around itself combinations of astral matter, giving to these combinations a particular vitality and the characteristics of responding to, and instantly taking shape under the impulse of the thought vibration. This elemental essence exists in hundreds of varieties on every subdivision of the astral plane. As thought, the air itself becomes visible here, as indeed it may be seen in quivering waves under great heat, as if it were in constant motion with changing colors, like a mother of pearl. This vast sphere of elemental essence is ever answering to vibrationals caused by thoughts, feelings, and desires, and it is thrown into a commotion by a rush of any of these, like bubbles in boiling water. The duration of the form created depends upon the strength of the impulse to which it is birthed. The clearness of its outline depends upon the precision of the person's thinking, and the color depends upon the quality, intellectual, devotional, passionate, of its thought. Okay, well, I will read more later. I'm at about 27 minutes, so we're getting a little long, and we will be getting into the influence of the law of attraction and how energy works and how we create and receive and are operating 24/7 with this law, and that it is constantly within us, and we have control over that, and we need to start learning that we do, because most of it we're running on default and we don't even know it's operating. But the law is consistent, and it's part of the 7 laws of Hermeticism and the 7 emerald tablets of Thoth, and these are very true energy laws that we need to learn and start to understand, so that way we can create consciously instead of by default. So much love. I'll see you on the next one, and have a beautiful favor-filled day. Bye-bye.